The camera, Vlambeer. So you're showing off your latest game, Luftrausers. Can you explain it to us?
Yeah, it's a game about being the best fighter pilot in the world, flying the best airplane in the world, and a lot of people are not that happy with that.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It's a 2D dogfighting game. We're really trying to make it feel as if you're the best pilot in the world. So
that's really cool. For some reason, it's giving me sort of the same sort of vibe as Asteroids or Space War. Now, so what inspired you to use this aesthetic?
So it's interesting that a lot of people seem to be comparing it to older games because it's really a new game that was made nowadays. But we think it's interesting that nobody has been making games like this for 20 years.
Yeah.
And then there's basically nothing else to compare these games to. But we weren't actually inspired by those older games. What happened was we had a little test that we made with the airplane where we used 2 images to make it seem like it's a 3D airplane, and we really liked how that looks, so then we decided to make an airplane game out of that. It's just really interesting that nobody made a game like this, because one of the problems we have is every time we work on this game and we want to test a new feature really quickly, we end up playing it for 30 minutes because we're having fun. So it's a bit weird.
You only make games that you're interested in playing.
Well, we make games that we like making, but it's good to also like playing them.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, your games are always super addictive, like Super Crate Box, for example.
Thank you so much.
I can't peel myself away from that one. So, might I ask, is there any sort of backstory to Luftrausers that we should know about?
So Luftrausers' backstory is basically you are the best fighter pilot in the world, submarine comes up, launches you, gets out, and you try to get as far as possible. So the game is actually one level.
Is it procedurally generated?
It's somewhat procedurally generated, but in essence, you could finish the game on your very first round. It's just that I've been working on this game for 9 months with JW, with the other Vlambeer guy, and we both can't consistently get to that point. So it's a game about skill. It's a game about being the best fighter pilot in the world. It has to be a game about getting better at something. So we'll sort of guide you through the beginning of the game with cutscenes and unlockables and stuff like that. Later on, it's just going to be you against the system, figure out how to get as far as possible, and then face the final bosses in the game, because there are several bosses at several points in the game. There are several things that you might not see quite as often. There's one type of enemy that I've only seen once in 3 days. It's been played non-stop here at PAX. So there's a lot of stuff in there.
Glad to hear there's a lot of content in there. So,
we try, yeah.
So, what's your favorite part of development? I have to ask that.
The part we really like is right at the beginning, when you don't really know what something is going to be, and you're just sort of toying around with ideas. And it's also the time of development where stuff happens really quickly. So you have this idea, wouldn't it be cool to have an airplane that can fly through other airplanes and you don't get damaged? They add that and it's really great. But then after that you go to sort of production. So you know what the game is going to be about, what it's going to be like, what types of things will be in there. Then it's just really hard work.
Then you got to make it fit.
Exactly. So then you're just working really hard for months. And then at the end of that is also really fun. When you're done and sort of showing it to people. I've been here at PAX and seeing everybody really enjoy the game. It's been really great. So this part is also really fun.
Now conversely, what would you say is the hardest part of development?
I guess the hardest part of development is staying motivated. These projects, we try to do that by having multiple projects as one, so that if we get bored with one project, we sort of switch to another one for a while. But staying motivated and keeping yourself sort of pumped for the things you're working on can be really difficult. And we ran into that issue with Ridiculous Fishing when we got cloned and got demotivated and didn't work on it for 6 months to a year. We learned that creativity and just being able to work on this stuff is so closely related to your ability to motivate yourself, to push yourself to keep going. So I guess that's the hardest part of development.
Thank you very much for those sentiments. I'm going to keep that in mind for any independent developer, Keep it up, right?
Will do. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure meeting you.